Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Win. My name is Ken. I'm joined, as always, with my co host, Tim.
Hello, everyone.
And today we have an awful lot of news to cover. So let's get right into this. Tim, I got something very interesting for you.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
hit
it
me.
happened, I think this is happening like literally overnight because I didn't see any news about this yesterday. And I woke up this morning and I happened to find that South Africa is currently rioting right now.
Oh yeah, they've always been known as a well, especially in the last few years, as a relatively unstable country. It's surprised it took them this long to fall apart.
What's pretty interesting is it's not just South Africa, right? Let's see, where is it? It's across Ethiopia as well, where they're trying to fight back rebels. But
Really?
specifically, yes, we'll get into that in just a second. But first, in South Africa, the rioting. There's been plenty of looting and shooting. Uh, I
My two
read a
favorite
story.
things.
Oh, you can't say that. Oh, protect us, Florida man. All right. Anyway, I read a article as well from the BBC from a shop owner in South Africa who described how they defended their property. It's kind of hilarious, kind of ingenious. They not sprayed, they like dumped a bunch of oil on the floor outside of their store because they were inside of a shopping mall, and
Okay.
people kept slipping and sliding, and they couldn't get into the store to steal from them. I thought that was kind of funny.
Minneapolis business owners have a lot to learn. So does Target.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But things keep going this way. They sure do. So
Well,
South Africa, I'm not sure how many of our viewers know what's been going on. Really, I am just becoming aware of myself. I found recently that the former president has recently turned himself in to serve a 15-month sentence, excuse me, on corruption charges, which were, I think, related to a financial advisors bribery and fraud charges. I don't know. It's really weird, something like that. So they got him, and he's turned himself in now. And I guess that has made a lot of people very, very unhappy.
well, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like he didn't really have a whole lot going for him or any of the other leaders currently in South Africa, because they've been in the process of just stealing farms and land from people and giving it to other people based on skin tone, which surprisingly isn't popular. Who would have thought?
Oh, not only is it not popular, it drives up the food prices that were already sky high to begin with.
Yeah, they're not exactly an economic powerhouse, are they?
Well, no. I could also say, though, that American interventionism has definitely hurt them. Shipping grain and the like over for pretty much free will cripple just about anybody's agricultural district industry, excuse me, if it's not developed enough, and that just happens to be the case there.
Well, in addition to South Africa being on fire, we got a few other countries that have been on fire recently. Venezuela. Um, Biden's lifting sanctions on them as they continue to plunge deeper and deeper into chaos, because that's exactly what chaos needs is a bucket of gasoline.
Chaos could definitely use a couple pilots like Joe Biden and Nicolas Maduro.
Hmm. Well, apparently, as Biden was lifting the sanctions, political opposition to the Venezuelan government's being arrested. What was the guy's name?
Wow, that's dystopian, dude.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be able to actually pronounce this guy's name. His name's in the news articles and the docs, but yeah, apparently he was talking with the press and stuff, and the government doesn't like that. Surprisingly, who would have thought?
Yeah, I guess it turns out the government really doesn't like it when you go around asking questions or telling them they're wrong. But I guess I can sympathize with them a little bit because I don't like that too, but it's a little different. I'm only one person.
No, one person at a time is all it takes. Additionally, on fire is Haiti. Um, as I don't know, did we cover when did the Haitian president got assassinated? That we covered that last week, right?
Yes,
Time
we
is
covered that. We actually have an update on that. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I thought so. What it looks like is apparently he was gunned down by gunmen, like trained assassins. Pretty impressive. Like this is kind of like that dystopian novel type thing you'd hear about, or you'd see in a TV show. Kind of
Like a
incredible to think.
it's like a Tom Clancy novel come to life almost. Like I'm going to quote CNN here on this one. Like
That's bold.
the Haitian president's body was found riddled with bullet holes, according to a local official tasked with documenting the crime scene. Like, geez, dude. Although riddled could be pretty subjective.
Ah, yes, he was a human, and now he's Swiss cheese.
Okay. That's pretty fair. Oh, I think also deeper into that article, I think somebody blames like some Western power or something. Let me
Probably.
see.
Um,
I'm sorry to do this to you. Mm,
a handful are Colombian. It looks like.
Wow, Colombian.
Um, at least 20 people are now suspected in the killing, according to Haitian police, of which 26 have been identified as Colombian. 20 of them
Oh, okay.
detained, including 2 U.S. citizens who said they were translators.
Oh no. Oh no.
Apparently, they used at least one of them was confidential source to the DEA.
What are we getting ourselves into here? This is ridiculous. Come on, America. Come on.
Well, we thought the Bay of Pigs was fun, so we would do it again.
Come on, guys. There's a reason it didn't work. There's a reason.
Well, something Fast and Furious, right? That worked.
No, no, not working. Something communism. Oh yeah, communist. Oh hey, speaking of them,
Yeah,
we
Cuba.
got some news in Cuba. Yeah.
Oh man, Cuba's been all over the headlines, and I'm actually really loving it.
Oh, why is that?
Well, I mean, Cuba's fight for freedom has been going on for quite some time. Bay of Pigs joke here somewhere. But on top of like everything that's happening inside of Cuba, DeSantis, being the Chad that he is trying to offer internet to Cuba, and the
That's a
FCC
pretty Chad
supports him,
maneuver.
and the FCC is
That.
backing him. They're just waiting on Biden to give permission. So we'll
Mm,
see how that one goes. Doo-doo.
yeah, we'll see. Oh, speaking of Biden, right? Because he's kind of related to what I'm about to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, wasn't it Obama? Here's the relationship. Biden was his VP. Didn't Obama in 2016 or something, like towards the end of his presidency, say that he wanted to lift the Cuban embargo?
Yep, he did.
what, like, what a guy! Oh yeah, on my way out the door. By the way, I'd totally love to do that for you guys, but I can't. I'm on my way out, and I'll see you later, man.
Good old lip service.
Hmm.
And also interesting, on top of DeSantis trying to get internet to Cuba, private citizens with boats in Florida have been just stockpiling like food and medicine, getting on their boats and driving it or boating it over to Cuba for people.
Wow, really?
Like this is a full on like Dunkirk level effort.
Jeez, I got to read about that.
Yeah, it was one of those things that's just it makes you happy that people are willing to be good people.
Thank God there's still people like that out in the world. And thank you, uh, You brave Chads for doing that.
Dude, if I had a boat, I would be doing it 100%.
Mm. Hey Tim, you want to go buy a boat?
I've
Oh
actually
man.
considered it. The only
Ooh.
problem is that Biden, Mr. Immigration that he is, has told Cubans that they're not allowed in the U.S.
Mm.
Mr. Bring on all the immigrants, except the ones that aren't going to vote for my socialist plans.
My
Dang.
socialist plans.
Yeah. It's funny. He wants all the immigrant. There's also some Afghani soldiers that like helped with the U.S. troops that have been trying to come to the U.S. and he's blocking them as well, from what I've read, because he knows that they're not going to vote for his plans either, and they're going to be functional members of
Wow.
society.
Wow. Oh my god. You guys hearing this? First he gets away with like basically quizzing the National Guard. Do you support me, yes or no? And then he gets away with this? Come on, man. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
it's the difference, Ken.
Oh my gosh, yeah. The difference, guys. It's a parentheses, capital D, close parentheses. The difference.
Kind of like what Biden used on his 16-cent tweet, except we emphasize it.
Yeah, so actually, I don't know. I haven't run the numbers, and I don't think I want to. 16-cent savings good enough to offset 0.5% inflation every month?
No, it's not. And
Oh,
16 cents of saving isn't enough to combat the, what was it, 5-6% rise in food cost overall since
mm.
year over year. Hmm.
Wait, no, hang on. That can't be right. Because Biden and his cronies, I mean the administration, the administration, excuse me, they explicitly told me that even pork prices were down. So how can that be? How can food prices have risen?
I don't know. Someone asked the Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Oh my gosh.
Well, speaking of people who don't understand anything, Jen Potato, right?
Mm. Jen Potato, everyone's
Um,
least favorite press secretary.
yeah, I would agree with that probably. But she has not handled this Cuba thing well. She has managed to take every position up until today. We're not including today's press briefing yet. We'll get to it. But as for the rest of the week, she managed to avoid anything about Cuba except, oh, Cubans are rioting. Thumbs up, maybe. Thumb kind of sideways. And then when someone's like, they're rioting because they think communism is bad and they're carrying American flags. And she goes, well, yeah, they want medicine, right?
Oh no, that's silly. They can't possibly not want our policies.
Yeah.
Come
And
on, silly.
what she said, direct quote from the press briefing on the 12th. Um, the question here was, someone asked about Cuba. Why is it yesterday the State Department was saying this is all happening out of concern about rising COVID cases, even though Cubans were talking about exhaustion by the government. And her statement was along the lines of, but we know that we say exhaustion, the manner in which people of Cuba are governed, that can cover a range of issues. Now, this is the key part. Whether it's economic suppression, media suppression, lack of access to health and medical supplies, including vaccines. So, what you're saying is that people don't like economic and government suppression? You mean like the policies that you're trying to push through? Hang on.
Well, no, no, no. What we're doing is not economic suppression. All right, we're looking out for the consumers here. We got to tax the big bad businesses 100%. We got to make sure they produce negative 5 billion tons of carbon every year. All right, we do that for you guys. You're real ingrate talking to us like that. You know that, Tim?
Yeah, we're just the rubes that don't know how to photocopy our driver's licenses. It's fine.
Oh no. Yes, I was waiting for this actually. So guys, Kamala Harris in her infinite wisdom, decided to pull off a grand heist. She has had her own Hillary Clinton moment. This is great. We're definitely going to link this in the description or possibly in the notes, possibly both. We'll see. She essentially sits down in an interview and says of the Americans that they're rubes and it's almost impossible for them to Xerox, photocopy for you rubes, their IDs. Like, how, like, mm. Oh, man. Somebody should tell her that that was a pretty bad idea. Yeah,
Well, it's a
I'm
little
thinking that.
late.
Somebody should tell her that's a bad idea.
Nah, let's not. Let's let it play out.
Well, let me say this before you lay into it. Uh, if she decides to run for president in 2024, she will be destroyed just like Hillary Clinton was. Because I am very sure rural Americans will remember this.
You mean like she was destroyed in 2020 nominees?
By Biden.
Yeah, man, second best
Yeah, that's
behind
first
Biden.
loser.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats are just falling apart in every angle. Let's see. What do we, it's kind of like reaching our hand into like a cookie jar and we're like, "What? I'm going to get a cookie because there's just so many good things to cover." Oh, okay. I
Oh,
know I know which one I want to cover.
I got something for you.
The
Maybe we're gonna do the same one.
Texan Democrats.
What's that?
The Texas
No, no,
Democrats.
no, no, no. You,
Uh,
you can hit that one.
okay, yeah. So the Texas Democrats decided to take a private plane from Texas to DC to defend voter rights or something. And they flew privately instead of, taking the jets that, the common folk would, that they are so trying to connect with by fighting this
The
bill.
rubes.
Yeah. The people they're so trying to connect with, instead of taking one of their flights,
Oh,
they took a private chartered flight because the people want to see us together. And what's even better about it is that none of them were wearing masks. I have flown a few times in the past month or two, and if you take your mask off, like that's it, game over, unless you're eating. And these people did not wear masks at all throughout the flight, unlike the rest of us. Rules for thee, but not for me.
Tim, that's the difference.
Oh,
Yeah, guys. Every time you hear the difference on this show, just imagine that there's two parentheses right around that D. Just remember that and start using that yourself with your friends. I'm sure they'll get a kick out of it. They'll figure it out. Anyway, in Biden news, you guys remember how he needed more and more money for those COVID bills to tackle whatever stupid things he was talking about, like crime and not getting vaccines out or whatever? Yeah. Well, now he's actually asking the state and local governments to use up that money to actually address a self-admitted uptick in violent crime. Oh man,
whoops.
you
Big
you
whoops.
couldn't draw this up any better, dude. This is on CNN of all people of all sites. Excuse me. I'm just so excited to talk about this. They're finally admitting there's a fucking problem. Excuse me. We're getting demonetized. It's whatever. It's fine. We're already demonetized. It's nuts though, because they finally see what's going on. They see that nobody likes it, and they've reflected for a moment. A very rare thing for them to do. They said, "All right, how do we still maintain the rubes voting for us without them being killed? I know. We'll address the crime problem now."
Day late, a dollar short.
Something like that.
Well, tangential to that, New York City. There's someone's trying to primary to build a blowhard out. This
I
guy
love it when
apparently
people call him that.
apparently this guy used to be a police chief, and he's running on the campaign of we actually need money for a police department. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about his other policies or anything. I just know that currently he's actually front running De Blasio just on the
Front
simple
run.
fact that he wants, money for the police department.
Oh man, I can't tell which is funnier, this or Gavin Newsom actually not being able to be labeled a Democrat in his recall election.
Yeah,
I
apparently
don't
he
know which
missed
is
like a check.
funnier.
He missed like a checkbox somewhere, and they're like, "Haha, get screwed."
Oh man.
You do
Yeah,
love to
okay,
see
we
it.
can't do anything about that for you, boss. Oh
Oh
man,
man,
things that can't be done. How about this one? The GOP support for the supposedly bipartisan infrastructure deal is starting to go wobbly. Let me
shocking.
translate this for everybody out there who might not read outside of CNN or MSNBC. There I go stuttering like rumbling Joe Biden. What
You
this
know
really
the
means,
thing.
what this really means, you leave me alone. What this really means is the 4 or 5 Republican senators that were going to vote for this are now telling them, yeah, I don't know, man, you're spending like $4 trillion or something like that. I'm being hyperbolic, but am I
Not by
really?
much.
And as everyone knows, the Democrats need 10 senators to pass this for it to be bipartisan. Uh, I don't see that happening. Sorry,
No, this is 100% DOA.
absolutely. Who do they even have it? They got Mitt Romney, they got Murkowski, and I think that's it.
Probably. Well, now if you happen to live in the districts controlled by those people, you know who to vote out.
I'm out. Vote them out. Them PM.
Yes.
Vote them
Well,
out. Go get them. Not
I think
literally. Go get them at the freaking voting station. Come on.
speaking of, I think we'd be a little remiss if we didn't talk about this. Results are coming in from the recounts in Arizona. And you know it's
Ooh.
really funny?
Oh
There's
no.
discrepancies. Apparently notable discrepancies in the recount.
All
There's
right, hang on. You're telling me something that's not true here because I was told by reliable sources, Brian Stelter, that this is the most secure election in the history of elections, maybe
yeah,
ever.
it's the greatest election maybe ever.
So what do
But
you got for us then, Tim? This better be good.
there's no official numbers yet, but some of the Republicans that have been working on this were talking with Fox, and they said that while they couldn't give exact numbers, there is a notable discrepancy. And as far as we can tell, the total numbers are supposed to be released July, like late July, early August. They're
Ooh,
just doing data aggregation now, which is easy but time
that'll be
consuming.
something to look forward to.
But yeah, I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't cover the fact that as everything stands, there's it's almost like there was issues with this election that should have been looked into.
Let me
Mm,
ask you something, and this is rhetorical. I know what the answer is, obviously.
okay.
If these super secure, awesome voting machines that are totally unhackable and legit are so totally unhackable, why wasn't anybody given the chance to really look over them? And why did they say right after, this is also rhetorical, why did they say right after that request that they were afraid that a third party would hack it?
Oh, I actually have something for that. I'm gonna have to find
Oh,
it.
geez.
I This is not in our docs or anything, but by the time we post the docs on our website, I'll find it and add it in here. There's actually like annual events. I don't think they're yearly, but like every few years or so, people get together in like warehouses with the voting machines and hack them. Like it's like a sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
And, well, hang on. And we were led to believe all this time that we just had the most secure election in the history of elections, maybe ever.
Yeah.
When in 2016 the Russians hacked us with pretty much minimal effort, really. Now that I think about it, they hacked the DNC with pretty minimal effort because if you guys remember, their password at the time was Obama 08.
Whoops.
Yeah, and we went from that to in 2020. Nope, Russians didn't interfere. Russians didn't do anything screwy this year. No, we're all good. Everything's above board.
Yeah, so it's the world one of the hacking conferences. It's called DEF CON. Looks like is when they were
Mm.
doing it. Yeah, I'll get the notes for that and I'll put it in the doc for you guys to read. It's just fun things to think about.
The more you think about,
The
now
more
get
you
over
know.
here so you can get gulagged. I mean, dissidented.
Oh, well, the news cycle just keeps on giving, doesn't it?
Well, it does for the rest of us dissidents. I have something interesting to share with everybody. The FDA, so this is, you know, like a federal government agency uh, telling us this. They have issued a new warning on a rare autoimmune disorder linked to the J&J vaccine. Actually,
Oh,
they
really?
are
What?
finding at least 100. I'm sorry to cut you off. They're finding at least 100 preliminary cases of a very rare syndrome, a very rare neurologic syndrome, Guillain-Barré. I probably horribly butchered that, but it is spelled Guillainbarre.
And
So
what is that?
supposedly this vaccine causes this syndrome, and basically what it is your body's immune system will start to attack your nerves, and the first things that you'll feel is like wink, weakness and tingling in like your fingers, your hands, your toes, and your feet,
Mm-hmm.
and then the sensation can spread all throughout the whole body, eventually paralyzing you. And when it gets very severe, it's actually a medical emergency when you have to deal with this. You have to
That
actually be hospitalized to deal with it. We
that's
don't
actually a
actually
terrifying
know.
death.
You're telling me, dude? I'm so glad I ducked these vaccines, man. The exact cause of this particular syndrome is unknown, but we do have some sort of like limited data. About 2/3 of patients had reported an infection in about the 6 weeks preceding the syndrome taking hold, and those included respiratory or gastrointestinal infections or infection from the Zika virus. And lastly, I do have to mention this: there's no cure for Guillain-Barré syndrome, but there are treatments that doctors can use to ease the symptoms a little bit and kind of help you out as much as they can. Most people are going to end up recovering from it. The mortality rate's about 4 to 7%, but not
Which is
everybody will fully recover from it.
4 to 7%. It's still higher than the current COVID death rate. Boom. Oh
Well, I,
man.
I bring up this very rare neurologic disorder because maybe some of you football fans will remember there was a Dallas Cowboys player. His name is Travis Frederick. It was about this time, I think probably in August in 2018, so pretty close to this time. He actually was diagnosed with it and had to retire from the league because of it. So it's pretty debilitating on people.
Well, that's actually really tragic. Like, if it's just a terrible way to have your career ended, quite honestly.
I agree. I definitely agree. And now it's a possible side effect to the J&J vaccine, according to the FDA.
Yeah. Well, speaking of government entities, the CDC, they're fishing around. They're stating that you don't actually need boosters as much as some countries have been pushing for them.
Really?
Yeah. They're expected to do like another vote or something, or however they make policy by like throwing darts at a board or something, I assume. But praying to the Lord Fauci for his infinite wisdom, probably, however the CDC does it. But next week, they're expected to possibly update the guidelines. But as of right now, the CDC is saying that you don't need booster shots.
That's really fascinating. I have something that's sort of related to that. A Dr. Scott Gottlieb, he is the former commissioner of the FDA. He actually said recently it would be prudent to begin the process for federal authorization of booster shots of the vaccines. Funny enough. So I wonder if this is going to cause some sort of internal strife in the admin.
No, the people who dissent will be thrown out, and then that'll be the end of that. Clearly, you haven't been paying attention.
I'm a rube, remember? I can't even use a photocopy machine.
That's true. Well, it looks like we're not the only country thinking about boosters. The
Oh,
UK and Israel both have been considering them.
okay. Well, I knew about the UK, but Israel as well. Tell us about that.
That one I don't have a whole lot of information on. I just
Tell us
know that
about the
they have been
UK then.
pushing. Yeah, I just as I was reading into the UK requiring them because we were talking about it, I just saw that Israel was also on the list of countries that it's considering boosters.
Oh, I see. I see.
So speaking
Well, I'll
of,
have to
Ken, would you
cancel
like
my
to run
trip
us into
to
the
Israel.
UK?
What's that?
Would you like to run us in about the UK?
Sure, I could do that. From the New York Times, England is going to have their Freedom Day, apparently, their so called Freedom Day.
Oh boy.
Uh, our main man, Boris Johnson, though, he urged his guys over there to keep wearing face masks and stuff, even as he promises to lift all the restrictions and make sure the economy runs again.
Remember when we thought
Um,
Boris was on the good side?
so this isn't actually rhetorical. You can feel free to answer and take it over. Is it really a Freedom Day if none of the rules are really taken away?
Well, if I had to deliberate long and hard on this and really mull it over as a more philosophical question, I no, no, it's not. You haven't been liberated from anything.
Hmm.
You
It's,
didn't even declare freedom, like we did, July 4th, 1776. We declared it.
well, hang on. You also have to remember their parliament is sitting in their fancy chairs in their ivory towers. And they're telling
Yep.
everybody, yeah, listen, man, COVID isn't going to go away. All right. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with the mask. Thank God we don't have that here because we're actually a little more civilized in how we govern ourselves.
A little bit.
I digress. It's about time, though, that any restrictions were lifted on England because I was doing some digging and I have found that about two-thirds of their population has received the first vaccine and about half of them have received the second dose. So I'm
That's
not
not
really
bad.
sure what exactly they've been waiting on, but yeah,
Totalitarian regimes to give up their power.
I guess so. Yeah, that would make sense to me.
Ugh.
Authoritarianism for the win. I'm kidding, guys. Don't fall for that communism propaganda nonsense. It's malarkey.
Come on, man.
You know the thing, the thing.
So, Ken, would you like to start off with your side topic this afternoon?
I would love to. I got a really good one for you here today. I think you're gonna love this.
I'm ready.
All right, everybody. I know that I've said for now weeks and possibly months that Ron DeSantis would be the best choice for the Republicans to run for president in 2024.
Let's go,
Turns
Florida
out,
man.
save us, Florida man, save us. Turns out, he probably won't even run. I found an article, and I will definitely link that for you guys. Mark Meadows actually spoke about this, the former chief of staff under Trump, and he was speaking with Ron DeSantis, and DeSantis said, "Yeah, I wouldn't, put it past me, but like I got to focus on my reelection for governorship here in Florida in 2024." That leads me to believe that he probably won't run in 2024, which is a little disappointing to me, but I digress because Trump has recently won a CPAC poll with 70%, and he has not ruled out running in 2024. I think if he runs and DeSantis chooses not to, he probably has the best odds at winning in 2024. I put him up against the Dem field, and I think he'll crush.
Yeah,
DeSantis would crush literally everybody.
yeah,
The prospects of another Trump presidency, though, I'm not liking it, man. Not that it's looking slim to none, but I really don't think that we need Trump in office again.
yeah.
Joe Biden's 79. Trump's going to be 78 when he runs again.
Yeah. Well, like I said, and have been saying, I don't want to see another Trump presidency. I love the man, voted for him twice. Don't want to see it anymore. I would
Yeah,
love to see someone younger and new take the mantle and really propel the party forward.
yeah. I haven't revealed my ideal ticket yet. I think I'm getting pretty close to it, though. Uh, in fact, I might be able to make it right here. Uh, Bill Maher on Fox News said that DeSantis, excuse me, could run in 2024 without Trump's blessing, but that's a risky move, and it is. So he probably won't do it. But the Hill actually definitely 100% believes that there's 9 Republicans that could probably beat Trump. Here they are in order:
Interesting.
Ron DeSantis. Uh, I
Yep.
would totally agree with that. Mike Pence. Absolutely not. And it's not because he didn't do his job on January 6th. He did. It's just that a large portion of the base doesn't think that he did his job. So
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't win. Kristi Noem, she's too inexperienced and relatively unknown. She also had the scandal with the NCAA kind of lording it over her, so she couldn't run. Nikki Haley, I don't
My
think there's enough
girl.
public support behind her, but she's probably my third pick out of this list. Yeah, she's still kind of inexperienced, but
Oh,
she was the
100%.
U.S. ambassador to the UN, so she's kind of used to dealing with shitheads. Excuse me
Yeah.
again.
She's got the spark, though, and I think the spark is worth a lot more than anyone gives it credit for these days.
The last few they got here are Mike Pompeo. I wouldn't mind seeing President Mike Pompeo. He was pretty cool as Secretary of State. He was anti-China, pro-America. I loved that. Josh Hawley, again, he's too inexperienced, and he's actually focusing on his senatorial run in 2024 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have Tom Cotton. I don't think that he can win. He just can't beat Trump. Not possible. Although he would be probably a decent candidate.
He would make a great
Tim
vice
Scott,
president, quite honestly. I think he's a
a good
ticket
vice
filler.
president or a good military advisor.
Yeah, like a good close seat in the cabinet, maybe. I think that's the best
Yeah,
Tom Cotton's got coming for him.
I'd like that for him. We got Tim Scott, who I don't think he could win. I point to the speech that he made when he delivered the GOP response to Biden's joint address. Not that he wasn't a great speaker, just didn't really rouse people like some of the other Republican speakers do.
Yeah,
And finally, they have Rick Scott. I'm sorry to do this to you, but I'm almost done. Uh,
yep,
then they also have Rick Scott. There's just no chance that he's going to win. Like, nobody knows who he is outside
yeah,
of Florida. So it's pretty much over for him. There's like 2 or 3 people that I can give the Hill credit for that could actually do it. But the rest of them, it's just filler.
yeah. I don't know. I would like to see Tim Scott because there's also a fair chance that his response was more tame due to speechwriters and other people writing for him. So I would like to see him in a debate setting or something akin to that, where he can really speak what he's thinking, and it comes off a bit more natural.
Well, Tim Scott, go ahead and go ahead, place your bet, go run, and I'll listen to your speeches as well. Let's hear what you got. I'm willing to give anybody a shot.
Yeah.
Tim,
Uh,
I think you have a pretty interesting side topic today too.
yep. This one's rather quick, but this one I find very important, so I definitely wanted to touch on it. Biden signed an executive order, which is more of an executive action, more of just detailing his administration to do work for him. and that he wants right to repair. Yes, it's a very loaded executive order, but the thing that I care about is right to repair. This is something that in the tech community, a lot of people are against, and they're all just stupid. Right to repair is great, and you love it, and I love it already, Ken. You want to know why you love right to repair?
Does it let you repair your stuff?
No, because you can go into any dealership, you can go into any place and have your car fixed. That's right to
Mm.
repair. Right to repair just means that you can go somewhere that's not the person you bought it from and get it fixed in the broadest sense. So you like that ma and pa car shop down the road, you know them, like your family's known them for years, you like going there? That's right to repair. Instead of having to take your Chevy back to the dealership. And it's important because while Biden is pushing for it, and while he's mostly pushing in tractors right now, which the fact that tractors aren't right to repair is kind of stupid, Mexico actually has taken the opposite stance. It has actually passed a bill making it illegal to repair your own devices. Which it's something like 6 years in prison and like 50,000 US dollars bail or fine. So just remember that there's some rights here that we have that are just really nice that a lot of other places don't get to enjoy.
Man, oh man, that is that's like horrifying. Going to prison just because you wanted to fix your stuff.
Yep.
I couldn't imagine
Yeah. As someone who tinkers a lot with stuff, I would be in jail already.
it. Oh man, don't tell the Mexican government, everyone.
Oh no. Well, that's all I've got. And do you have anything else?
No, I think we went through just about everything this week, guys.
Sounds good. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you've enjoyed, and if you have any comments, leave them below. We'll make sure to read them and then probably ignore them. Thumbs up. Other than that, I hope you all have a great week and God bless.